Hey everyone, it's great to talk to you again today. I did not get a chance to see yesterday's game until about 9 p.m. Luckily, I did not have any influence on what I was thinking because I didn't get any details or the outcome until I was finished watching. Purdue was 20-1 and number one in the country. They were at home against Michigan State. Purdue beat them in a nail biter a couple weeks ago, 64-63. MSU was looking for a flip of the outcome, and Purdue was looking for a sweep of the Michigan basketball teams, also having beaten Michigan in Ann Arbor on Sunday. Plenty of critics were still chirping about Purdue not being a deserving team despite their record. So a big question was, can they defeat what most people think is a pretty good MSU team? Or would they falter at home? Can the freshmen hold up? Those answers most of us fans have put to rest already. Yes, they are capable and ready for more. Zach Edey, who I affectionately call Zedey, went off in the previous meeting scoring 32 points. So my first question was, how was Coach Izzo going to stop the big man? What scheme would he use? Secondly, the Boilermakers appear to have righted the ship on their poor outside shooting in late December and early January. Would that continue in this game? Questions on the toughness and effort have also been answered already. They are both solid for this team. So here are my notes as I watch the game. Both teams traded baskets pretty early on, looking kind of fluid but not necessarily precise. By the 11:49 mark, Purdue was up 15-7 and shooting 50%, going 6 for 12 from the field. But I couldn't help feeling that it should have been a lot worse with 2 chippies and 2 free throws missed. Then I had to say to myself, would this be a factor later in the game? Meanwhile, the Spartans started off 3 for 8 shooting with some very nice mid-range jumpers and a free throw made. So Purdue comes out of a timeout and sinks a 2-point bucket by TKR on a really nice back end that he had. And the next 2 possessions for Michigan State, they drained 2 threes to make it 17-13 after a Purdue miss. You see how quickly games can change on only 1 possession by your team and 2 possessions by the other? So the next several possessions by each team recorded smooth shots, but tough defense was being played. Yet quick ball movement allowed each team to score quickly and at ease. At about the 5:13 mark, Zedey is starting to take over. Zach Edey, that is. After Morton missed 2 free throws, Purdue got the rebound and Zedey scored again. It's now 28-17. But that's 4 missed free throws already. Ouch. After another forced shot by Michigan State because of Purdue's tough defense, Brandon Smith drives the right side of the lane. He flips it back to First, who's around the free throw line, and then he takes a step forward and he pops it to Zedey for the monster dunk. Purdue is up 30-17, and the place went crazy. Of course, the words that come to mind are, we seem to not be able to handle a lead, especially late in the half. Will that happen again with about 4.5 minutes left? Well, let's see. Izzo doesn't look good with that ugly little smile he puts on his face when he's disgusted, and he had that. But when MSU double-teams Zedey, trying to put pressure on Purdue's outside shooters, well, then the Boilermakers' assassins have come through with daggers consistently through the first half. Meanwhile, Zedey, when not double-teamed, is still getting hacked a lot, but scoring nearly at will. Zedey already has 12 and 4 at this point in the game. Michigan State finally scores after a decent drought after being down 32-17. Purdue's next possession, Morton missed a wide-open 3, but Zedey gets an offensive rebound and he gets the putback. Purdue now back up 34-19, and there's 2 minutes 39 seconds left in the half. Coming out of a timeout, Michigan State missed a couple of very good looks right near the basket. Purdue comes down, and it's almost a carbon copy of what happened the possession before. This time, First missed the 3, and Zedey got the rebound and the putback for another deuce. Purdue now up 36-19 with 2 minutes left in the half. So the next possession for Michigan State, they missed a 3-pointer, and there's a phantom foul called on Morton, who got pushed in the back. And then a drive by Akins, who makes a floater in the lane, and they call a ticky-tack foul on Jenkins, who just swiped at the ball when it went by him. Ticky-tack wasn't my call. That was the announcer's call. And these refs are not great in this game so far. Now, this kind of goes back and forth. Coach Painter has been complaining about the last month or so, these ticky-tack calls for fouls. Meanwhile, Zedey is getting beat up down low every single possession, and there are a few fouls called. Before that possession, Purdue was up 36-19. Now it's 36-22 with 54 seconds left. Morton drives the lane and gets fouled, but he misses another free throw and he makes one, so he's now 1 for 4. But this allows Michigan State to have the last shot of the half. And with about 8 seconds left, though, Morton moves to his left on defense, and a Spartan comes in with a pick and knocks him over. It's an offensive foul. Now, Purdue gets the ball back with 6.9 seconds, and they have a chance at the last shot. Smitty drives down the left side of the lane this time. A quick pass back out to Jenkins now for a three-point try, which he guts. Purdue goes into halftime up 40-22, and the place is rocking. Purdue has now finished the last 10 minutes of the half on a 23-5 run, and the woes of allowing a team back into a game that have been alleviated. They didn't have it happen this game. Edey at the half has 16 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block that he sent into the bleachers. Other stats at the half: field goal percentage 55% for Purdue, 38% for Michigan State. Michigan State had 8 turnovers. Purdue only has 3 at this point. Bench points, Purdue is up 16-6, and points in the paint, Purdue is up 22-6. So, a big question going into the second half will be if Purdue lets up, as they seem to do in the past month or so when they get leads, or do they keep pushing it, trying to make the lead bigger through great defense and solid shooting? Now, apparently, Tom Izzo got a technical foul as he complained about the moving pick, which was very obvious at the half. What you say? Izzo complaining? You lie, I say. So Smitty starts the second half, draining 2 free throws, and now Purdue's up 22-42 before time even goes off the clock. Coach Izzo complains about foul calls his team is not getting, but is all for the fouls that are not called on his. I'm guessing all coaches are like that. Okay, the first 2 possessions, both teams alley-oop for huge dunks. Michigan State has picked up the pace now, though, and it looks like they're starting to change. They're pushing forward and often seem to be thinking about maybe pushing Purdue to its limits and making some quick shots. And, to be truthfully honest with you, they're making them so far. A couple misses by Purdue again on blatant fouls by Michigan State that don't get called. That's me complaining. And there's this ticky-tack foul on Michigan State for a push in the back to first. Again, the reffing has to get better. But later I'm thinking, man, they are beating the heck out of TKR when he came in. Finally, after a few minutes, someone calls a foul on an offensive rebound that he gets, and he was getting mugged. The refs are allowing Michigan State to pretty much bang people as hard as they want at this point. So there's an obvious foul with an elbow to the face later. It wasn't flagrant. It wasn't trying to hurt him, but they didn't even call a foul on it. After going to the monitor, just play on. The place went crazy. Nuts, so to speak. Right after that, the Spartans go down, get the 2 and 1, and are now shooting 8 of 11 in the second half. And I have to admit, the refs have allowed Michigan State to get into this game by favoring their play of game. If they're not going to call fouls this game, it is going to get close, is what I was thinking. Now, 12 minutes, 19 seconds left in the game. Purdue is still up 53-41, though. And at the 11-minute and 14-second mark, Michigan State is now 10 for 13 in the second half and has closed it up to 10 points. You got to love Coach Izzo. MSU is shooting lights out. They have gotten every single call this half. The fouls are 6-6 when it should be 16-6, and he is still complaining. Now, with 8:58 left in the game and 2 of the last 3 possessions, the refs have actually started to call fouls on Michigan State. Edey has been unstoppable and currently has 29. Yes, 29 is going to line for a 1-and-1. Purdue's up 59-45. Now, Michigan State, with their great shooting, has brought their field goal percentage up to 50% after a dismal first half and literally have made almost everything in the second half. It feels like, anyway, that is. Great shooting from them in this half. Now, the faster pace change that Coach Izzo did, it looks like he changed for at the half. It's working sometimes and not others. They still have no answer for Edey, though. So the score is 66-50 with 7 minutes left, and Edey's going to the line again for another 1-and-1 after fouls are starting to be called. On the other end, Hoger drives the lane and gets a foul called, and it appears the refs are calling pretty consistently now for both teams since about the 10-minute mark. Both teams have been able to get to the line with solid play. But holy jeez, Purdue misses 3 more free throws. I remembered back to when they missed 5 in the first half, and I thought about that. Just half of those in this game, and there would be more breathing room, wouldn't there be? Yet Purdue's up 66-52 with 6.5 minutes left. After Flash, A.K.A. Fletcher Lawyer drains a 3, then Hoger drives the lane, and Edey blocks it, and they call the foul on Edey. Now, the place went crazy when they saw it on the Jumbotron, and as there was little to nothing there. They just flashed the stat, though, that Purdue is only 8 for 16 from the free throw line, but still up 15. Come on, boys. At the 4-minute mark, Edey on 2 consecutive possessions gets buckets, and Purdue's now up by 19 again, 73-54. But Smitty, what are you doing? He caught the bug too, missing a free throw. Yes, he's shooting 90% on the year, and Purdue is only shooting 50% from the free throw line this game, though. Okay, with 2:58 left in the game, Edey gets 3 offensive rebounds on 1 possession before they finally call a foul on someone. He drained both free throws and has a career high of 37 points. Purdue's up by 20. That was kind of the end of the highlights. Your final ends up being 77-61. That's 8 straight wins for Purdue. They're now 21-1, 10-1 in the Big Ten. Purdue completes the State of Michigan sweep 3-0, twice beating MSU, and once over the Wolverines, of course. Edey ended with 38, 13, and 3. No one else was over the top good, except maybe Jenkins scoring 11 off the bench. As a matter of fact, though, the bench played great. Plenty of rebounds and assists with points for everyone in this one. You don't have to score 12 and get 8 rebounds a game to contribute, because every man contributed in this win. I will say this, though. The first 30 minutes of the game, the refs let them hammer anyone on both sides. The last 10 minutes, they called it closer and probably to what should be the norm. Aghast, a foul was a foul. Otherwise, they really were no doubt of who was the best player on the court last night, and probably who may be the player of the year at the end of the season. But team effort and riding the horse get you a long way on the hardwood. Since this game, Purdue is now the unanimous number 1 in the country, and the naysayers have been shut up. Well, until Purdue loses a game, that is. Then they will come out of their corners swinging again. So that's it from the old Golt's desk. Here at Burden on Society, it was a great game where Purdue destroyed Michigan State. I'll see you next time.
Shut up and sit down.